So I wanted to do a video about the topic of solution architecture. So I was talking about this on one of the other videos, just in terms of what that actually means nowadays. Solution architecture is a bit of an odd one anyway, because I was around when they started sort of using the term solution architecture. So just a quick history lesson on this. So what you used to have, sort of enterprise organizations in terms of architects, is you'd have basically application architects. Oops. Let's work that out. Application architects, you'd have infrastructure architects, and you'd have sort of a bit broad brush, but enterprise architects. So these are different types of architects you have. And basically application architects were usually sort of like the guru developer architects, so the ones that had been programming in the language, still programmed in the language, the application was being written in, and they knew about the frameworks, they knew about different frameworks. They were the ones that were able to have conversations with the developers, and generally all the sort of other, contributors to an application. So typical sort of stack, if it's a web, if you're to talk to the web guys, not probably specifically about sort of CSS and JavaScript, HTML, sort of specifically, but they'd understand how it works. You'd have the coders, so like mid-range technology guys, they'd be able to speak to those, so that's maybe like C# or Java or whatever. And then you'd have the database guys as well, and the database guys, Oracle, SQL Server, whatever it was, they'd be able to speak to them as well. Now the application guys were probably the closest to what the business needed to do as well. So they became sort of like liaison, sort of communication liaison between business stakeholders, developers, all the different areas, and that was it really. That's what an application architect did. Infrastructure guys, so infrastructure architects, were the guys that knew all about the different types of processes, different racks, the way in which the data centers worked, loads of different things that you just wouldn't really know unless you had done sort of studying networks, been in data centers, and really followed the hardware. So they were very, very into hardware, obviously. And then the enterprise architects. Enterprise architecture is a bit of an odd one, depending on how and where you worked. You would have enterprise architects who were the ones that sort of drove the strategy. You'd have enterprise architects who may be domain architects, and this is definitely sort of in bigger organizations. So you have a customer domain architect and account domain architect, those sort of things. So that's really what you used to have in organizations. Now, from what I saw, and this is a bit of an odd observation point, what I saw was one of the big consultancies, I won't say who they are, but they also sell hardware, or sell hardware. I don't really know if they sell hardware in the day of cloud anymore. I think they sell cloud as well. They apparently had a point in time where they weren't doing very well. They'd expanded quite heavily, and basically, instead of giving people pay rises, they gave them new names. And one of the things that I should have really added to this list as well is that there were people called business architects, and they aren't like the business architects from sort of enterprise architecture or the TOGAF side of things. These guys were more like sort of super BAs, so they didn't really know technology very well, but they would sort of own the analysis model, and they'd own the requirements catalog and drive the business analyst teams. Now, this particular consultancy promoted people without pay rises, and they all became solution architects. Now, the people that became solution architects were business architects and the application architects. And it was a bit strange because what it led to was you couldn't actually tell who you needed to talk to on the team anymore if they had multiple solution architects, because you'd speak to someone and say, hey, I'm the solution architect, working on this project, or maybe it was a transformation into technology X or whatever. maybe Workplace Server or something, and you'd sort of speak with them, and then you'd sort of get to a point where actually you're using technical jargon or whatever, and they didn't understand it. They'd say, "Oh, tell you what, we'll have to bring Chris along," or something. So that was a bit of a strange situation, but that was really the birth of Solution Architects. What we sort of saw then was that business architects became more sort of aligned with enterprise architecture, pretty much because of the reason I've described, which is when teams were looking to have, say, one solution architect on a team, it just seemed more easy for people to be involved in the business side of things, especially if they've been working on more sort of full end-to-end application delivery when they've been doing technology, than to have people that have sort of gone down the business analysis route, having to learn about say distributed services and database qualities and all this sort of stuff. So what happened was the part that was business architect specifically went into enterprise architecture. And to be honest, this was really the point at which certainly I came across TOGAF as a framework, and it sort of all fell into place, because within TOGAF, enterprise architecture is split into business architecture, application architecture, infrastructure architecture, etc. So that sort of got everyone aligned to that. But that was really the birth of solution architects. So hopefully that's useful. The reason why I've told you this is because I want to do another video around what a solution architect role needs to be able to do. So if you like this, please subscribe and follow my other videos. See you soon.